This video interview is sponsored by the ChipSplit Affiliate Program and will be spotlighting the Carbon Poker brand, which also features a full suite of high-converting casino side games. Here's the top 3 reasons why you should join the ChipSplit Affiliate Program. Number 1, ChipSplit accepts players worldwide, and that includes US poker players. Number 2, the incredible conversion rates. ChipSplit is converting unique clicks to signups at an impressive 31% and signups to depositors at 25% globally. And number 3, the awesome earning potential. ChipSplit pays affiliates the first day of every month like clockwork, with no negative carryover. Join ChipSplit through the CAP directory and cash in on our exclusive offer for a 50% rev share opportunity through the month of January 2012. Check out the CAP directory for the exclusive offer details and join ChipSplit today.
Hey everyone, I'm Warren Jolly with CasinoAffiliatePrograms.com, and I want to welcome you to today's interview with Scott Yeats. Scott is currently the head of poker consulting services with Hybrid Interaction Limited and is the former VIP manager for PokerStars. Following a successful career as a world-class online poker player, Scott decided to switch sides and now advises leading iGaming brands on best practices for rewards programs development. Today we'll learn about the importance of promotions with player retention and what Scott believes will happen to online poker, as well as just some general opinion that Scott has on the online poker affiliate industry. Scott, it's really good to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your history and how you made the transition from poker player to joining one of the top poker operators in the world?
Well, I was in digital printing until after the dot-com bubble burst. I had customers that were doing $50,000 a year with me that were telling me they were going to do $5,000 the next year. My sales manager asked for projections. I told him they were only going to do $5,000. He said, "We'll put them down for $55 and see what happens." So I knew I needed a new career at that point. So about 2003, I resigned my position. I was going to take the summer off to spend with my boys. And lo and behold, Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker, and internet poker exploded. Poker was a hobby of mine, so internet poker was a natural. That summer, things went crazy. I won like $14,000–$15,000, and then I kept winning trips. So I kept having an excuse on why I couldn't get a real job until about 2005. I was sending emails to the top sites that I was playing at, giving them ideas on how they can improve their program. And one of the ones I was really emailing a lot was PokerStars, because I was upset they didn't have a rakeback system for us in place. And so it was causing me to spend over 50% of my rake at other sites. But I liked PokerStars, but I just couldn't justify playing there without the rakeback. So I think it was February 2005, I got an email back, "Would you like a job?" And I was shocked. And 6 months later, I was working for PokerStars.
And did you move over to the Isle of Man where they're based, or did you just work for them remotely?
I worked from Orange County, California for the first year, and then moved to the Isle of Man for 4 years.
And how was it living on the Isle of Man?
It's like living in the past. It's very old world. It was a great experience. I loved it, but it was definitely old world with the stores closing at a certain time, stores only running one shift of employees. So it was a big difference from Orange County.
Yeah, I can imagine. Living in Orange County myself, that's a big change. So you were at PokerStars, and what were you doing at PokerStars when you joined?
Well, we were going to develop the VIP program. That was what I was emailing them about. The concept was everybody was giving 25% rake back. So the thought process was, if PokerStars gives 25% rake back, everybody else will just give 50% rake back, and we'll be in the same situation we're in today. So we wanted to develop something that was going to be more sticky and more relevant to the players.
And upon creating that, did you see some good results in terms of the net increase in rake that PokerStars saw from their VIPs?
Oh, of course. I think January 1st, 2006 was the busiest day in PokerStars history until that period. It just took off. It became so huge, and with the improvements that we had the following year, it even took off even more.
Got it. Okay. So you must have had some exposure to affiliates during your tenure there. That's a big part of our audience watching this interview today. So what was your opinion of affiliates before and after you joined PokerStars?
My first experience with affiliates was Poker Pages and Card Player. Poker Pages was a site where I could go to my local casino, play a tournament, and the next day I could log on to Poker Pages and see the results and see how my friends did and see who won the tournament. And I didn't understand that they were an affiliate, but that was what my dealings with them were. And they were one of the top poker portals back then. 10 years ago, they were number one, number two with Card Player. You can see how times have changed. Card Player and Poker Pages have really gone down the ranks as people have developed new affiliate programs and new ways to capture your business. Once I started at PokerStars, one of the first tasks I had was to review the rake on some micro limit game, and I found some Austrian player transferring $5 to hundreds of players. And I turned it over to security. What's this guy doing? Who is he? And that turns out that was the beginning of Poker Strategy. And it was an amazing thing to see what he was doing with our micro players, using our micro stakes as a testing ground to get qualified players onto another site.
Amazing. So post PokerStars, what are your thoughts on just the affiliate industry as it relates to poker?
It's fascinating. We don't know what the next big thing is going to be, but we know some affiliate's going to come up with some way of capturing the business better than they are capturing it today. I don't know. It may be Poker Strategy, may be developing something new. It may be a new site that we've never heard of, but there's going to be something new and some way to capture the business better than there is today.
Okay. Would you agree there's a global decline in the poker market?
With losing the U.S., of course, there's a bump in the road. But regulated poker for the U.S. is coming in 2012. And then Asia, the sites are just gearing up for Asia. And once they get the Asian countries interested in poker, getting poker TV shows on their local stations, it's gonna take off again.
Okay. So your advice for affiliates is it's cyclical. There's always going to be new concepts, new ways to maximize, even if the market hypothetically continued to decline for a little while. There's still cycles that affiliates can take advantage of. Is that the message?
Oh, of course. And I think it only declined for maybe 6 months. I don't think we're going to have a decline going here forward. It's going to be increasing.
Okay. So how can affiliates better understand and leverage VIP customers with the idea that these players will naturally earn them more?
Well, they need to educate their customers. A lot of players deposit a single time, lose the money quickly, and never deposit again. The sites don't want that. The affiliates don't want that. We need to educate the players on how to play, how to manage their money online, because that's going to increase their total net worth. And you're always looking for their next deposit. So you want to create a reason for them to deposit again. You want them to have a good, entertaining time so that they will deposit again.
Okay. So on that note, you have tons of experience managing and creating VIP programs for operators. What does running a VIP program have in common with being an affiliate?
Well, I would say running a site and affiliate have the exact same thing in common. They're trying to capture the internet habit of the player. For example, when I logged onto the computer this morning, I logged on to Google, I logged on to Facebook, I logged on to Twitter, I logged on to 2+2. Those are my internet habits. You need to change the internet habits of your players, if you're an affiliate, to include you. There's got to be some reason they have to visit your site today. There has to be some reason they visit your site tomorrow. The internet poker site or internet casino is doing the same thing. That's the reason they have blogs. That's the reason they have poker news. That's the reason they have a replay system where they show the final table of a specific tournament. It's to entertain you, not necessarily through the means of gambling, but entertain you so that they capture your internet habit.
So without naming any names, I guess we talked about Poker Strategy briefly. What just during your time at PokerStars and just being in the online poker industry, what are some other things that affiliates have done that potentially other mainstream affiliates can look at duplicating with their own strategies to really maximize engagement and stickiness with users?
I think poker schools is the key. If you can create a poker school where you have the exchange of ideas between players, where you're teaching them to play better, it's only going to help your affiliate. You have to have a reason for them to come back tomorrow.
Okay. So based on your experience, again, what type of traffic produced the best quality sort of VIP players for the companies you worked with?
Again, you go back to for poker, it's the same thing. The qualified player that plays good enough to break even, or to make his $50 deposit last 7 days. You know, that was what we were trying to do at PokerStars, is we were trying to make their deposit last longer than, let's say, full tilt. If some player deposits on full tilt and some player deposits on PokerStars, we wanted him to be entertained longer. So they need to go after the players that know how to play, capture that business.
And have you, I mean, just in terms of marketing sources though, have you seen that happen best with SEO because of its targeting? Are there other mediums like social media where those types of players exist? I mean, where are the pool of those customers, let's use today as an example, in your opinion?
Well, I would target SEO terms. What Card Player's talking about, for example, is a lot more important than what Zynga's talking about. Zynga's building a different poker model that's not the same type of players that a Card Player is going after. There's going to be so many different ways, and a year from today, we're going to talk about some affiliate that captured something and everybody's copying what they're doing.
Okay. So just jumping onto the operator side quickly, which operators are the best at retaining their players and maximizing lifetime values, and why do you think that is?
It's impossible to say, because not everybody releases their numbers, and the numbers they release, we're not sure what that refers to. Just to give you a quick example, PokerStars is just poker. So a player on PokerStars is going to be different than a player that's on site A that has poker and a casino. And that player may leave for a different reason than the player on PokerStars. It's like comparing apples and oranges. But I believe the VIP program that PokerStars and others have followed is the future. Giving everybody a straight percentage is not beneficial to the site. It's not beneficial to the affiliate.
And that's just due to cannibalization, or just the shrinkage of margins for both the operator and the affiliate? Why do you think that the VIP methodology is the way to go?
Because your rewards are always increasing. There's always, it's like an airline program. If you're a businessman and you fly American Airlines, you always fly American Airlines. Why do you always fly American Airlines? Because your rewards keep increasing if you keep on American Airlines. You could pay the same price on United or some other airline, because if you go to Expedia, the price is exactly the same on all the airlines, but you give all your business to that one airline to have your rewards increase. So the same thing works in poker, same thing works in casino. You need to constantly have a carrot out there for the player that if you do this, your rewards will be this. If you do this, your rewards will be increased.
Okay. So we know with airlines, for example, free flights is what it's all about. That's why we all subscribe to certain travel programs. What types of player promotions do online poker players react best to?
It depends on which poker player you're talking about. For example, the Play Money player, one of the goals at PokerStars was to give them a challenge that may take weeks, may take months, but you give them this challenge, and once they complete it, they get a reward, and the reward at the end is small cash amount. So let's say $1, $5, $10. And then they play real money. You would be amazed at how many of them finish the reward. Let's say they worked 6 weeks on finishing this challenge, and they get their reward as $5, and the $5 lasts them, let's say, 2 or 3 hours, and how many of them hit their credit card? That's an amazing challenge that doesn't cost very much. Giving people $1 doesn't cost very much, but if you can switch them over to real money, that's a huge value to the site.
Interesting. Okay. So going to PokerStars real quick, I mean, they still run many different types of promotions. Any funny stories about a couple of promotions that come to mind?
Well, my favorite ones were always the ones where someone turned a small amount of money into a large amount of money. just give you a few examples. We had 10-cent sit and goes on the real money side, and we duplicated that on the play money side. So they could play the exact same thing that the 10-cent players were playing, but they were playing for play money. Well, we would look at those players over a 3-month period and pick, let's say, the players that played 5 of those, because if they played 5 of them, they obviously liked that type of sit and go, and they respected the challenge, and we gave them $1 so they could play 10-cent sit and goes, and we sent them an email saying, here's $1, you can play 10-cent sit and goes, have a good time. Well, I would look at the rake figures for these players and look at what they did with the $1. Some of them would play 25-cent sit and goes. They'd play something else, but the conversion rate was incredible. I think it was a cost of $15 per conversion. And then the interesting thing was we had this girl that she paid $300 in rake over 3 months. I'm like, how did she pay $300 in rake? She'd never deposited. So I looked at her transfers, and she never had a transfer. So then I started looking at her account, and she won the first 10-cent sit and go she played, so that gave her $8.50. Then she won a $5 sit and go. She worked her money up to $1,500 in like 3 months. It was just amazing. One of the other ones was we did a $50 promotion where I don't remember what the reward was, but we were looking at the players 7 days in to see how they were doing, and one player had like $5,040 in his account. So you always assume that someone transferred him money or something, because he only paid $1.50 in rake for the whole time he'd been on the site. So I look at it, and he played a $1 sit and go, he lost. He played a $2 sit and go, he lost. He played a $3 sit and go, he lost. So he played a $5 rebuy multi-table tournament, and he won it. He just won the thing outright and had $5,000 in his account, and he stopped playing for the day. It was just amazing.
Incredible. So, I mean, looking at these promotions, the different, there's a variety, obviously, and as you said, they could be micro promotions down to the 10-cent level or things that are for the larger players. How can an affiliate effectively bridge the gap with an operator's reward program so that the player knows what to expect before they even sign up at a gaming site? You mentioned earlier educating the customer and making sure that they know what they're getting into, but how do you feel affiliates can do that really well where you've seen good success out of it?
They need to visually review the rewards program of the sites that they're offering to their players. They need something simple that's one page, that's visual. You can have all the details and you can have everything behind it, but you just need something visual. Most of us are very visual people. We just need to see something. If I do this, I get X. If I do this, I get Y. Just make it one-page review, visual, and simple. And you can have the complicated lawyer form behind it with all the details, but just make something visually simple.
Okay, so if I'm an affiliate, I get 1,000 visitors a day to my poker website. What's the process? Do I just go to my operator site and try to review the rewards program? Do I email the affiliate manager, or do I get in touch with a VIP manager at the poker room? What's the best way to get that information so that I can go ahead and then publish that on my site and educate my customers?
It's going to be different with every site, but those people that you mentioned, especially the VIP rewards manager, contact them and tell them what you're trying to accomplish, because their job is to help you. They're going to help you. They're going to want you to succeed, so they're going to give you everything that you need.
Okay. So as an affiliate, how can I rank the retention efforts of the operators I send traffic to? Is there any metric that you would watch? I mean, how do I know that poker operator A versus B and C has better VIP retention and longevity of the customers versus their competition?
That's a tough question, because you're not getting the details from your provider on how long your players are lasting. One of the best ways you can learn anything is to survey your players. Find out what they like. Find out which sites they like. Find out which sites they don't like. Find out why they don't like them. Find out why they like them. The more that you can understand what's going on with your players and what's going on inside their head, the better it's going to be for you in the long run.
Okay. Makes sense. Are there any specific countries which consistently see higher levels of retention, player values, etc., versus others?
Well, this is actually interesting, because I met with a game developer, not in the gambling industry at all. He's in the online gaming industry. And we were talking about this specific question, and he had the exact same answer I had. Northern Europe, Germany, just the numbers are incredible per player. When you go to somewhere like South America, the numbers are dismal. And we were just laughing because we were telling the exact same stories, but from a totally different, or from the different side. He was in the non-gambling, I was in the gambling, but we had the exact same answers. It was just, Korea's just through the roof. Sweden, Norway, through the roof. Brazil, Argentina, not so much.
Why do you think that is with South America? I mean, everyone talks about that being the next hot market outside of Asia, of course, for online gambling. What do you think the reason is the player values are so low?
Well, it's one of the reasons that I've never heard talked about anywhere, but in Brazil, when we would check out the free rolls. We ran free rolls on the weekends for the play money players. If a Brazilian player or a South American player won $20 in that free roll, he transferred money to 5 friends. And that was like, it was almost like a joke where we'd go, oh, okay, I found a Brazilian player, and we would guess the over/under on how many players he transferred money to. So by him transferring money to 5 or 6 players, he's creating 6 real money players, which all have a very low value. So the grinders, the big players in South America are the exact same as the big players in Germany. There's just so many micro players. Plus the other interesting or other fact about the area is there may not be as much money. So that may contribute to that. If there's not as much money, they can't be as big a player.
Is it a market that you would pay attention to, say, over the next 5 years to see if the economics change or the volume of players goes up? Is it something worth paying attention to as an affiliate?
For South America?
Yes.
I don't know the answer to what to do with South America. It was a real eye-opener speaking to this game developer about he was having the exact same problems in South America and spending a lot of money down there trying to develop the market. And same with PokerStars. We were spending a lot of money trying to develop the market. It just didn't seem like it was there.
Okay.
Not today.
Okay. So you've mentioned in previous interviews that you believe a new game will dominate poker in years to come. What is that game and why?
I've seen things from Zynga that are incredible. If connected to poker, we can have a new big game. Texas Hold'em's been the largest game in the world for 20, 30 years. The internet really hasn't produced any new game. Everything that can be played on the internet can be played live. I mean, it's not convenient to go to your local casino and play a tournament with 1,000 people like it is online, but you can do pretty much the same thing online as live. What's going to happen with this next generation of internet companies getting involved in the industry is they're going to develop a new poker game that will have some of these aspects of Zynga that will be attractive to females. I've talked with my wife, who is the typical female, does not want to play poker, does not care about poker, but I've talked about her playing these simple concept games where it's still a skill-based game, it's not Texas Hold'em, and she says, yeah, I'd play that all the time. And I'm thinking, if something like that can be developed and women start playing, it's going to be huge.
Okay. Interesting. Any idea what the name of that game might be?
I hope it's VIP Scotty's poker game.
Well, make sure you make shares available to all of us for purchase when it does come out.
Oh, sure. I'll sell you one today. I'd love to get a patent on it, but I need someone to work with someone that can execute the ideas. It's out there. It will happen. Whether I'll be involved, I just hope I'm involved with it.
All right. Fair enough. So last question for you, Scott. Again, you've been in the industry for a long time. What are some of the biggest secrets you can share with iGaming affiliates just to help them be more successful, especially based on your learnings being inside an operation like PokerStars? What do you think affiliates should really be doing? Just a couple of tips.
The most important thing is you need to change the internet habit of your player. If you can get your player visiting your site once a week, once a day, that is of huge value. Look at how fast the internet's changed. 10 years ago, I visited AOL every day. I visited Yahoo every day. I visit poker pages every day. Now I don't. Those people lost something that was so valuable to them, and in many cases they don't even realize they lost it. If you can create that next generation internet site where there's a reason for people are compelled to visit it, you're going to dominate the industry.
Okay, I think that's a sound piece of advice. All right, Scott, that's the time we have for today. Really appreciate your time on this interview and the insight you've shared. I think our audience would definitely agree. If anyone's interested in getting in touch with Scott after the interview, send an email to interviews@casinoaffiliateprograms.com, and we'll be more than happy to put you in touch. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stay tuned for future interviews with iGaming industry leaders. Take care.